Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special video podcast on the iPhD program, a distinctive doctoral initiative of the Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, ACSIR. The program offers the Doctoral Innovation Fellowship, supported by National Innovation Foundation, India, NIF, and is designed to seamlessly integrate academic research and industry linkages with innovation driven real world problem solving. To help us understand the vision, structure, and opportunities of the iPhD program, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Arvind Ranade sir, Director at National Innovation Foundation India, who will share his insights on how this fellowship can nurture the next generation of doctoral researchers and innovators. Welcome, sir.
Good
To
morning,
begin
welcome.
with,
Thank you.
Sir, could you please clarify whether the iPhD program is a regular academic PhD program?
Varsha, good morning and good morning to all the viewers. Before I could speak on the iPhD program, let me first no thanks to begin with to the Director General of CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and the Director of ACSIR. With this, opportunity, NIF now come into the new venture, that is iPhD program. And iPhD itself gives us an idea that there is a PhD, but there is a word I is associated with it. And I itself stands for innovation. I stands for the industry, especially when it comes to the iPhD program of NIF in association with ACSIR. So this is a special occasion wherein ACSIR and NIF come together to bring out the technologies wherein national innovation foundations, with the help of our grassroots innovators, have already working on the technologies, who stands at the various TRL levels, and with the intervention of these youngsters, the highly academically motivated students, to enhance their TRL level, bring those technologies into the mainstream, is the prime motto of this particular I initiative program. And that is where we expect the youngsters to take this iPhD as something which allow you to contribute for the development of the nation. And when we look for the Viksit Bharat 2047 as a dream of our Honorable Prime Minister.
Well, all right, sir. Since the iPhD is a formal academic PhD, leading to the award of doctoral degree upon its successful completion, could you please highlight the key features that distinguish this program from conventional PhD programs?
Yeah. As no, in the beginning, I said this is a PhD, but there is a word I associated with it. So these two I's are so important for ACSIR and for us as well, because here the NIF in the name itself is an innovation word is associated. So all the technologies at NIF wherein we are working on, all based on the innovations, and that too coming from the grassroots level innovators, those with the limited amount of resources knowledge that they have brought the change into the style, in the product, in the process, by which this innovations can have a potentials to reach to a different level, and get this knowledge and the products being patented on their name. And as an outcome, we expect that there will be a good intervention of these youngsters, through which these technologies can brought into the mainstream. And that is the difference from the formal or the usual PhD and this iPhD program, in when it comes to the iPhD, ACSR, and NIF fellowship.
Okay, sir. Could you please outline the broad research domains in which the candidates can pursue this iPhD program?
Very good. Let me first tell you that what this iPhD and what are all the domains in which. Let us first let the audience also, and especially when I say the audience, I look at the youngsters who have just about to complete their post graduations, or the those who have completed their post graduations in science, and the technology, engineering, wherein these students with the lot of enthusiasm and have a lot of interest to let their work be contributed for the development of nation. Now, if you look at what are all the areas in which we work on, then obviously NIF, since its beginning, almost now 25 years of our consistent work with these grassroots innovators, we had to begin with, we have identified five major domains. Because when it comes to the grassroots innovators, at entire countryside, then what are the areas is largely, if you see, these grassroots innovators, or one can say the non-educated or the illiterate people, though the word mentions them that illiterate or uneducated, but I think something which is very astonishing that we all should understand, these people with the limited resources and with the limited knowledge, the kind of change that they are trying to bring with the interventions of their all resources available with them, they are coming up with some kind of an innovations, or mostly better way to say this is frugal innovations, and they have got a potentials to solve a large scale problems. And that is where, if we look at the various domains that NIF works in, then it largely falls into agriculture, especially the agriculture engineering, and then agriculture, then veterinary science, human health. And recently also we started working on the impact assessment and the public policy, because that is also one of the important domain in which these PhD students will work upon, enhance this work for their academic contributions, and at the end they will also get their degrees as a doctorate degree out of this work.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. As you said, the program spans areas such as agriculture, human health, engineering, policy, and veterinary sciences. Are there specific ACSI centers where the candidates can enroll and carry out their PhD research?
Varsha, once again, thanks for this question. This gives me an opportunity to let the youngsters understand. This iPhD program we started with ACSIR under two different aspect. One is the students who are already working in the various CSIR laboratories, and while they are doing their research, they have observed that their research, their academic contributions is almost aligned with what the technologies are getting developed in NIF. So there is a very good synchronization. There is good overlap with what work they have been doing it and what NIF is doing with. So the students who are already working in the CSIR laboratories and they do not have a fellowship, but they are registered with the ACSIR. So for them, NIF is helping them out. And for them, the supervisor is from CSIR primarily, and co-supervisor or the co-guide will come from the NIF. My colleague will guide them, and that kind of a work outcome will be considered as a one category of the students and the one iPhD program. And the second is an exclusively full time, the students will be working in the NIF. And in doing that, because as I said, we have very well identified problem statements which we have published on the website also while the advertisement is on. And these some of the identified problems, of course there are large, but these are all the indicatives. Based on that, the new freshers are considered that they can contribute into these problem statements. They will join us, of course, with the proper procedures to be followed by applications, shortlisting, interviews, and all. And then they will start working on those problem statements. And there, primarily, the supervisor will come from the NIF. And then, obviously, they will also find their technologies or problems are similar to the various CSIR laboratories. As we know, the CSIR has got more than 38 laboratories across the country. So these technologies will have kind of a connect with the other CSIR laboratories, and the co-supervisor will come from that. That is the second category, and then these students will get the fellowship from the NIF.
Okay, sir. Well, talking about one more important point is the coursework. So, what are the coursework requirements under the iPhD program? And does the structure allow any flexibility to accommodate interdisciplinary research as well?
Varsha, again, this is very, very important that the youngsters should understand. this iPhD program is something that is where the flexibility is one of the important part of this entire program. This is a regular PhD, but what is important is that they have almost 3 years time to complete their coursework. And again, this is not an something which is a well-defined coursework that they have to undergo, because, as I said, all the innovations work, where the NIF is working on spans across the 5 various domains. So what becomes important that there should be a flexibility to select the courses for completing
Yes.
their credit courses, and that is where this is the customized model based on their work, based on their needs. There are possibilities that the students will get these credit courses either through the well defined courses of CSR laboratories. Our NIF is also coming up with the coursework. In addition to that, the NPTEL and SWAYAM is also platform where whatever the right opportunity or right kind of an credit courses they can opt and complete their coursework in the framework of 3 years, which is a great flexibility for the students. And that is the strength of this iPhD program, I consider. And that is where we also wish that this flexibility is the backbone of this iPhD program.
Okay. Well, one more important question that comes into the mind is that is it mandatory for the applicants to hold a valid national level fellowship such as CSR NET, JRF, UGC NET, ICR, etc., for being eligible for this iPhD program?
Again, Varsha, I think a very important question that you asked for. Obviously, those who holds the, let us say, UGC fellowship or CSR research fellowship, most of them are with it's really welcome, but it is not mandatory as well, because NIF has come into this new venture where NIF is going to provide the fellowship for all these students, and we got these approvals from our no governing board and all our academic kind of and formalities which we have completed. And that is the strain that these students are not necessary to have a CSR or UGC fellowship, but NIF will be providing them the fellowship based on the the norms that ACSR and NIF has defined. But let me tell you, our first batch is already onboarded. Nearly 5 students have started their PhD, out of which there nearly 2 students are come in a first category where the students are already working in the CSI laboratory, and in the second category we have 3 students working with us, and one of the students is also holding the UGC fellowship. That is the strength of our this iPhD program, I consider.
Yeah, well, this will be also an opportunity for the students who don't have this fellowship. They will be enrolling here, and maximum enrollments would be seen in IPHD program. Well, going to the next question, how is the research supervisor allocated under this program? Will the supervisor be from ACSR, NIF, or jointly from both the institutions?
I think, Varsha, when I was talking about the earliest questions also, I think to a large extent I explained. See, this is a something which is a unique program, which has got a lot of flexibility. Because I think what is important at the end of this initiative is that the outcome of this PhD program should help for the socio-economic development of our country. And that is something that this iPhD is going to bring out, and that so much of various flexibilities are there. So as I said, in our first category, the supervisor will firstly belongs to the CSIR and co-supervisor will come from NIF. However, in second category, where the full-time PhD students will be working in NIF, and as and when required they will also go to the various CSIR laboratories as per the need of the guide and co-guide decision or supervisor's decision. So but in second category, the primarily the supervisor will be from the NIF and co-supervisor will be from the CSI various laboratories.
Is there a designated laboratory or institutional facility where scholars are expected to conduct their research work, or does the program allow any flexibility in selecting the research locations?
Again, very good questions. See, as I said, in our first category of the students, they are already started working on their research work, on their technologies in a well-defined CSIR laboratory. So that is from the CSIR part, their laboratories are already fixed, decided, and there some amount of work has already been carried out, right? In that case, NIF's technology, we also have got a lot of facilities in house We have a fab lab, we have an analytical laboratory. So we also have various facilities as NIF. In first category, the laboratory is very well defined. In the second category, as I said, based on the technologies and innovations the PhD students are going to select, as I said, we have floated some of the problem statements. Based on the need of the problem that they are going to undertake for their PhD, then their flexibility is obviously there to select appropriate CSIR laboratory and the appropriate co-supervisor from the various CSIR lab. And that is the strength of this iPhD program.
Well, that was very nice of you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing this valuable information with us about the iPhD program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vasha. And before I close, I look forward that this podcast should be, seen or very important, get popularized among the youngsters, those who are trying to contribute for the development of the nation. And their contribution is certainly going to make our country proud, to make the Viksit Bharat. So I also urge all those students, those who watch this podcast, please, if you have got that potential, if you have got that determination in your mind, please join and apply for our iPhD program through the ACSIR website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.